Hello, hello, welcome everyone. Oh, I need to make an adjustment on my screen. There we go. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in Gaia's temple. Here we are, drawing very close to the night of Samhain. This is a very holy time, the time when it is said that the veil between the worlds grows very, very thin. The worlds between we in the land of the living and our beloved ancestors on the other side. It is said that our ancestors draw closer to us now than at any other time of the year. But I'm not sure I believe that completely, because I feel close to my ancestors throughout the year. But I do think when the veil is thin, at this time, that is when it's easiest, perhaps, to connect with them on the other side. And so if this makes sense to you, or if you're curious to know more about this, and if you're interested in ancestral healing, which is the topic of our service today, then you have come to the right place, because this is where we tend to our hearts and our souls and find peace in loving, albeit virtual, community. I am Reverend Judith Laxer, and I'm so honored that you've chosen to spend an hour or so of your time here with me and this community in Gaia's temple. So we're going to have our board president, Reverend Karina Frenzel, give us a few short announcements, and then we'll get back to the program. Take it away, Karina.
Thank you, Reverend Judith. Good afternoon, everyone. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us reach out our goal of 1,000 subscribers so we could utilize a lot of the features YouTube has to offer. So as Judith said, our next Sabbath is Samhain, and we'll be celebrating this Sabbath on Samhain itself on Sunday, October 31st at 7 p.m. We're doing it over Zoom again this year, so please register by going to our website or going to the event on Facebook to get your place so that you can get your Zoom link. For this ritual, you'll need to have a photo of your ancestors, a small piece of paper, a lighter, a match or lit candle, and a small empty bowl, and a drink of your choice for the toast. And if you don't remember all of those, don't forget, you can always go to our website at www.gaistemple.org, and all of those instructions will be there as well. We hope to see you there for this high holy day of the year. And it's hard to believe, but the holidays are just around the corner. So we are now accepting wreath orders. Pick up one of these beautiful wreaths on November 20th, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving. To place your order, please visit our website, again, www.gaistemple.org, and go to the events page and select on November 20th, which is a date that you'll pick up your wreath. And there you could kind of place your order there on that page, or you can contact Reverend Judith directly. Prices are $20 for an 8-inch wreath, $25 for a 10-inch, $30 for a 12-inch, and $35 for a table centerpiece with a candle. Also, if you live in the Seattle area and have pine or spruce trees or any ornamentals from your garden that you plan to prune and it can wait until the week of November 15th, we would greatly appreciate your donation of the clipped greens. This is the material we use to make the wreaths out of. Please let Reverend Judith know if you have any to donate, and we'll arrange to pick them up sometime that week. Lastly, don't forget to stay for our fellowship hour after the service. Actually, not the full hour, but fellowship after the service. All right, back to you, Reverend Judith.
Thank you so much, Karina. Thank you. So I am experiencing a little bit of laryngitis. So we have beautiful Elizabeth Zinda is going to lead us in song. So take it away, Elizabeth, to get the energy moving for us.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. A little pop-up came up. Okay, I'm gonna close that. There we go. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I'm gonna paste this in the chat. So I've put the chorus of the song in the chat so you can join along as we sing. So I'll sing a verse, we'll all sing the chorus together. And then after the third verse, we'll sing the chorus twice through. All right, so here we go. Through the doorway of a dream, under the spell the darkness spins. Two worlds entwine in shadow and sheen, and winter beckons, welcome in. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain, Samhain, Samhain. Call this magic night Samhain. Okay, so that was the chorus. I just realized I forgot to teach you the chorus before we started. So let's go ahead and sing that chorus together, and then I'll start the verses again. So all together. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain. Samhain, Samhain, call this magic night Samhain. Through the doorway of a dream, under the spell the darkness spins. Two worlds entwine in shadow and sheen, and winter beckons, welcome in. All together. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain, 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 call this magic night Samhain. Farewell to summer, her moment fades. She sinks to silence and to sleep. Too late, the wind cries, too late, too late. A father sighs, a mother weeps. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain, 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 Call this magic night Samhain. Through the pines the wind blows cold. The mournful moon hangs low and white. We raise our wine to the wandering souls who walk along with us tonight. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain, Samhain, Samhain. Call this magic night Samhain. One more time. Samhain, Samhain, and we call this night Samhain, Samhain, Samhain. Call this magic night Samhain.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was beautiful. I just love that song. Well, let's continue on with that feeling, shall we? Let's all take a nice deep breath together. If you would, close your eyes, go within. Let's take a few deep breaths, bring ourselves very present to this moment now. Let the rest of the world fade away with all its cares and concerns, and bring ourselves very, very present right here and right now. And from that place of presence, go ahead and begin to ground yourself to the earth by imagining a line of energy extending from the base of your spine, reaching down toward the earth. And so it goes down through whatever chair or seat you are in, down through the floor, down through the foundation of the building you are in, or if you're outside, straight down into Mother Earth. And feel as she opens to receive your energy as you send your taproot down deep, deeper, and even more deeply, rooting yourself in the strength and the beauty of Mother Earth. And when your taproot reaches as deep as it needs to go so that you feel very grounded and held, send out smaller little branches reaching out and taking hold. Imagine now that those rootlets and your main taproot become porous and start to drink the energy of Mother Earth up through them. Drink them in, draw them up, knowing that what you're drinking in is the unconditional love of Mother Earth, her strength, her nourishment, her sustenance, and her love. Draw that in, draw her up, and keep drawing her up. Let her transfer over into your spine. Keep drawing her all the way up your spinal column till she gets to your heart. And when she arrives there, let her rest. Take another deep breath to make more room for her. And we'll let the energy of Mother Earth rest there in our hearts. Now in your mind's eye, look to the heavens and find the moon. She is waxing toward fullness now. She's in Sagittarius today, fiery, warm, direct, and beautiful. And draw that beautiful Sagittarius moon down onto you and into you. Imagine that she comes down through your crown, down through your head and neck, and makes her way into your heart. When she arrives there, once more, breathe deeply to make more room. Good. Now the earth and the moon are there in your heart. Look to the heavens once more and find the sun, strong Libra sun. He is pouring down from the heavens now, golden, radiant, warming, and light. and draw the strength and radiance of the sun down onto you and into you, and draw him all the way down to your heart. Good. Now in a moment, I'm going to ask us to take a deep collective breath together. And when we exhale, let's imagine that we can use our exhalation to push these three cosmic energies of Earth, Moon, and Sun straight forward outside of our body, and imagine it circling you completely. Let's do that on the first breath. Here we go. Deep breath. And out it goes. So imagine now that it is encircling you, and you are within those three cosmic energies in a circle. In a moment, we're going to take another deep breath, and this time when we exhale, we'll use the exhalation to push this energy out to encompass all of us here in this service, right here, right now, and even those who will watch it later over YouTube. It'll be multidimensional. We'll go through time and space. Imagine that energy rippling out like water does after we throw a stone into a still pond. Here we go. Deep breath. Out it goes. In this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds, but can heal and transform. And so we say our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. All right, Karina is going to lead us in singing in the elements. Thank you.
To the spirits in the north. Spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits of the east. Spirits of the air, carry me. Spirits of the air, carry me home. Spirits of the air, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits in the south. Spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits in the west. Spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits in the center. Spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart. Blessed be. I don't have the dinger. Ding!
Blessed be. Oh, technology, huh? Oh my goodness. When you were singing, Karina, sometimes it was really fast, sometimes it was really slow. Let's just blame Mercury retrograde on everything, shall we? So now we have the invocation. I thought today, instead of having one person read it, that we would all read it together. So Mari's going to put it up on the slide, and we will read the invocation together. Here we go. Great Mother Goddess, giver of all life, be with us. You who are both womb and tomb, be with us. Ancestors on the other side, be with us. You who are our beloved dead, be with us. As autumn deepens to winter, be with us. Today we seek healing. Be with us. to heal the challenges that flow down to us in our bloodline. Be with us. In doing so, we seek to heal the future. Be with us. In doing so, we seek to heal the past. Be with us. In this way, we prepare our hearts and souls for the holy night of Samhain. Be with us. We gather on this fine day to be in your presence. Be with us. Blessed be. Blessed be indeed. Well, my friends, here we find ourselves, just as we've said several times already, drawing near to the holy night of Samhain, also known as the Witches' New Year. It is the Sabbat on the wheel of the year that ushers in the season of winter. It is the threshold, the portal to the season of winter. It is the time that opens up the darkest eighth on the wheel of the year. These 6 weeks, we have the least amount of sunlight each day. And then as we approach Yule, or right on Yule, then the days will begin to lengthen. But right now, it is the darkest time on the wheel. It is a time when the energy of the earth drops. What was up and out now drops in and down. It's a time for rest, a time for restoration. That's what the earth is doing. And we who emulate nature in our spiritual practice seek to do the same. And we know that we can't just stop our lives and completely hunker down for a long winter's nap just yet, or at all, really. But we can certainly slow things down. We can say no more than we say yes. And we can do whatever it is that we need to do to restore our own energetic so that in the spring we can rise with renewed vitality with the growing season. It is a time for deep reflection. And tonight, or Samhain, October 31st to November 1st, and that's the exact period of time, but leading up to it and shortly thereafter, that is the holiest time in pagan practice. And it is the hallowed evening. It is a sacred time because we know that on the life cycle, death is one of the greatest mysteries. And so it is that beautiful mystery that we are seeking, the understanding of which we are continually chasing. At least I know I am. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, it is said that on the night of Samhain, that hallowed evening, that our ancestors draw closer. The veil between the worlds grows the thinnest that it's going to be in the entire solar cycle. And so it is a good time to reach between the veil and connect with our beloved dead. So here to sing us into that beautiful place is the beautiful Celia. Take it away, Celia.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. It's a pleasure to be here. The song is called the Ancestor Song or the Samhain Song. Give me a second to get my drone going. There we go. Calling all ancestors, Samhain, Samhain. Calling all ancestors, Samhain, Samhain. Calling your wisdom in, Samhain, Samhain. Calling your wisdom in, Samhain, Samhain. The veil is thin. We call your wisdom in. The veil is thin. Calling all ancestors, Samhain. Calling all ancestors, Samhain, Samhain. Calling all ancestors, calling your guidance in Samhain, Samhain, calling your guidance in Samhain, Samhain. The veil is thin. We call your guidance in. The veil is thin. Calling all ancestors out. Calling all ancestors Samhain, Samhain. Calling all ancestors Samhain, Samhain. Calling your guidance in Samhain, Samhain. Calling your wisdom in Samhain, Samhain. The veil is thin. We call your guidance in. The veil is thin. Calling all ancestors Samhain. Calling all ancestors Samhain. Calling all ancestors Samhain. We are calling. We are calling. We are calling. Calling all ancestors Samhain.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Oh, we got a little, there we go. Thank you, Celia. That was so beautiful. So I've talked a fair amount by now in Gaia's Temple about the recent discovery of epigenetics, which is this discovery that we do carry our ancestors' memories within the scaffolding of our own DNA. They say that we are carrying those memories for at least 1 or 2 generations, but if you're anything like me, you might feel that you are carrying memories for centuries and centuries and centuries. So when the veil is thin, this is a good time to do some ancestral healing because it's in us. Their experience is part of what we carry. It's part of who we become. And if we are carrying their memories that might be difficult or challenging, that's going to be affecting us. And it's in our body, but might not necessarily be in our consciousness or in our conscious awareness. And so when we bring it to our conscious awareness, we have the opportunity to do some healing. And of course, when the veil is thin, if this is ancestral healing we want to do, this is a good time to do it. Some of the memories that we carry from our ancestors are beautiful and loving and wondrous and joyful. And some of them are harrowing and grisly and filled with pain and loss. And so all of these memories that we carry within us are going to affect us. How often have we asked ourselves, why can't we learn from history? Even recent history that we have actual stories from. Forget ancient history that somehow has gone into myth and legend and we don't even know if it's true. But even our own history, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a decade ago, sometime within this century. Why can't we learn from our histories? Why can't we change how we're going to behave, especially if we know that this particular behavior is going to lead to this crisis or this chaos or this horrible thing? Why can't we learn from our history? I think that one reason why we seem to be doomed not to be able to learn from our history is because we are living out the wounds. We have not done the healing. We're not living out of the healing or a healed place. So we all know as human beings, we have thoughts and we have feelings. And the feelings that we have often are there despite our rational thinking, right? So, like, for example, let's say, oh, we're depressed. Now, we can tell ourselves we have no reason to be depressed. We can employ all the practices we know, like counting our blessings. We can remind ourselves that this too shall pass, and still we can feel depressed. We can tell ourselves there's no logical reason to feel the way we're feeling, and yet we can still feel it. Those feelings create a reality, and that reality then becomes something that we believe, and we live out of that belief. Now, sometimes we are depressed because of circumstances that are happening in the moment. All of us have had difficulties in our lives, and they can put us in a pretty bad state of mind. But sometimes it comes from a deeper, ingrained lineage that we are carrying on a body level. So our bodies are incredibly intelligent. They have an intelligence all their own. And I know I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. Our bodies know exactly what it is to do. We don't have to say, hey, lungs, please breathe. Breathe again, breathe again, breathe again. Our lungs just know to keep breathing. Our digestion just knows to keep digesting our food. When we are tired enough, we will fall asleep. When our bodies are rested, hopefully when our bodies are rested, we will wake up. The body just has an intelligence of its own. We don't have to cognitively tell it everything that it needs to do in order to keep us alive. So these are the functions of our body intelligence that bypasses our cognition. We don't have to think about it. So similarly, if we are carrying memories inside our intelligent bodies, and these memories of our loss or wounding, our bodies are going to innately respond to what it knows. Our bodies know to take another breath. Our bodies know there's a condition in here and we need to respond to it. I think that this is the principle behind epigenetics. It's part of our body's intelligence. So this will also explain why we have some propensities towards some things that make no sense, or why we engage in dysfunctional behaviors when we can source no specific cause or reason for it in our own lives. Like, for instance, like, how come we can't just have one beer, or one piece of pie? Why does it have to be to excess? Perhaps we are playing out the voraciousness of our ancestors who starved as either refugees or slaves taken against their will. Sometimes we are living a scarcity mindset, even though we have always had enough. Perhaps we're playing out the lack and hardship that our ancestors experienced without our consciously knowing it. Our bodies are informing us through the memories in our DNA that we better grab all we can get because life is just one shortage after the next. This is what kind of comes down through the bloodline. So if you've ever asked yourself, why am I so, or how come I can never, fill in the blank? If there's an always, already, constant going in your life, and you can come up with no specific reason that you can remember in your lived experience, it might very well be ancestral. And so it's good to look for those patterns, and that will clue us in to where the healing is necessary. Now, that's just us within our own personal lives. Of course, this happens between cultures, between faith paths. This is what's behind every war that's ever fought. This is behind racism. This is behind, war and racism, just like a fancy way of saying everything that's going wrong on the planet and everything that's been going wrong on the planet for as long as we can remember. Because we keep repeating the pattern until we source it and do some healing. There's a magnificent song in the musical South Pacific called You've Got to Be Carefully Taught. And the lyrics go like this. I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to read them to you. You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You have to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught to be afraid of people whose eyes are oddly made and people whose skin is a different shade. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you were 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You've got to be carefully taught. Of course, this is my magnificent song because it's kind of sung ironically. It's not a directive like, you better teach your children, but it shows us how that just comes down the pike. So whether we are carefully and specifically taught, or whether we just pick up on the scarcity and the racism and all of the language that our elders have used without consciously considering whether that is right action, right language, or we even believe it, we simply continue their lineage. And worse, we just keep passing it on. I might have called this service "The Buck Stops Here." We come from a very long line of humans who have been at war and suffered from disease, and slavery, and oppression, starvation, separation from loved ones, catastrophe of one sort or another. So what we're talking about here is ancestral trauma. Now, trauma is defined as a psychological, emotional response to an event or an experience that is deeply disturbing or distressing. Trauma events are marked by a sense of horror, helplessness, serious injury, or the threat of serious injury or death. That threat part is a lot of what I think we are experiencing in our culture at this time. It feels like everything is threatening around us. And what that also tells me in that definition of what trauma is marked by is that it's really very personal, because you might not be threatened by something that I feel intensely threatened by. So there's no judgment about what forms of trauma or not. Trauma is a personal response to one of those feelings of horror and helplessness and threat to our very lives, or injury, serious injury. When we become traumatized, obviously, I think it's pretty obvious that we lose power. We lose agency and control over our lives. And if we don't work to heal the trauma, then we are just behaving out of it. And this is part of what keeps that ancestral trauma coming down the line. Now, there is much available to us. We are so blessed, really, because there is so much available to us to do some healing of this trauma. Psychiatrist Bessem van der Kerk says that trauma treatment is not about telling stories from the past. Trauma treatment is about helping people to be here now, to tolerate what they feel right in the present. Now, of course, there is therapeutic merit in talking about the past, in recalling the specific trauma and processing it. We all need to tell our stories and be heard and witnessed. That's only one part of it. In order to move on from that, the further healing comes in developing tolerance for the feeling that past trauma brings in the present moment. Because sometimes we can just talk about our trauma and just kind of keep triggering ourselves. We just keep bringing up the trauma and re-traumatizing ourselves by going over and over and over it. So in the moment when we are feeling the difficulty from that trauma, right then and there, we have to bring ourselves to the present moment. Remind ourselves that we are safe right here and right now, that is something that happened, but it is not happening in this moment, right here, right in this moment. I'm fine, you are fine, we are good, we've moved on. It's about bringing ourselves repeatedly into the present moment. I don't think when there's trauma of any sort that it's going to be a one and done. I think this is something that we have to repeat, to continually remind ourselves, in this moment, we are safe from harm. Between telling our stories and processing them and continuing to bring ourselves into the present moment, I think we have a chance to heal these traumas. Now, trauma triggers us, right? I use the word trigger, and that's very common in our culture to say, I get triggered by this and triggered by that. In a similar situation that has caused the original trauma, something can trigger us. So we might not be back in that moment of being mugged, let's say, but if we feel like someone looks suspicious and they might be coming after us, we will have that response. It's just automatic. Like when you think about pulling a trigger on a gun, right? That bullet flies. There's no stopping that bullet once that trigger has happened, right? But the healing can happen before we pull that trigger, before the bullet flies, by saying, no, that's just a person walking on the street. Perhaps they look like my mugger from the past, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be mugged again. I'm just using really simple analogies, but just to point out how we want to get ahead of what triggers us, so that in that moment, we create a little bit of spaciousness, and then we can act from a different place. You know, we have similar, or we might have similar propensity for traumas as our ancestors did, right? It's kind of like, you know, when you bite the inside of your cheek, and then you just keep biting it and biting it, biting it. It's like a soft spot, and it's like a default. Just keep going there again and again. So this is why we want to look to what are the patterns. What happens that puts me in that trauma response again and again and again? And that's what start to clue us in on exactly where that healing needs to happen. Now listen, I know I'm talking about a huge topic here, and there is much to discuss about this, but I want to offer it up as food for thought, because when we look at what's going on in our world and the divisiveness that is happening, and how we get very concretized in our viewpoint, and it continues the rift between people, between factions, in communities, in families, between couples, between us and ourselves. There is deep healing that needs to happen. So even though I'm really talking about the tip of the iceberg here, there is an iceberg there. And as we know, the majority of the iceberg is under the surface. And in the deep, dark time of Samhain, it's a good time to look into the deep and dark. Now, we live in a world that is frankly traumatizing. We have our own wounding within our own current life, and then that is layered upon the existing ancestral trauma that's in our bodies. I mean, good grief, it's a wonder we can get out of bed in the morning sometimes, you know? But actually what that's showing us is just how strong and resilient we actually are, that we do get out of bed in the morning and that we can keep going. We must remember that we are strong and resilient also because of our ancestors. Not only are we who we are in part because of them, but we carry their gifts as well as their wounds. We carry their gifts also. It's very easy when we're in a healing process and we're focused on the wound and healing to think that's all there is. But part of the balancing act is to remember that we also carry their gifts that come down the line. So those gifts can be glorious, like musical talent, or maybe you're a whiz at solving problems, or you can just figure out how to create or make something. You've got kind of like an engineer's mind, or you can cook up a storm, or you're an instinctual healer, right? Even sometimes you just need a goodly amount of curly hair, and that's what comes down. You know, all of these things are gifts, and they are truly gifts from our ancestors. Despite the hardships that they endured, their gifts also come down the line. So here's where these two things come together, about the wounding and the gifts. There is wisdom in knowing that there are gifts within the wound. And that's a hard one, because gifts are painful, and it's hard to think of pain as a gift. We want to stop pain. We don't want to be in pain. We don't even like to say the word pain. But if we consider that perhaps part of our soul's path is to overcome scarcity in this lifetime, let's just say, for example, then it might be that we are born into a lineage where scarcity is the paradigm so that we can work to overcome it. And then, because if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, there would be no impetus to develop a prosperity mindset. But if you come into a scarcity paradigm, which I think is very common for many of us, particularly if you're any kind of an artist in the world, right? Scarcity is kind of like the name of the game, right? Because we're not valued the way other professions are valued. If we are here for that and we are working to overcome a scarcity mindset, then scarcity is the painful part. But the gift is that in healing it, we learn to recognize the world as abundant. That is a gift. So the gift can be in the wound. Another example is that perhaps your soul's path is to learn how to really take very good care of your body in this lifetime, this temple of your spirit, that you're going to stop thinking of it as just a little container for your brain, that your body itself requires so much care. And perhaps in this lifetime, you're learning to take care of yourself in a way that you've never had to do before. And maybe if that's the case, you chose to come into a lineage of addictive type behaviors, for instance, in order for you to work to overcome, to learn how to care for your body in this lifetime. That can be the gift that comes out of the wound. So like I said, this is very simplified as examples, but just to kind of show you the mechanism of looking at what are the hardships, what are the wounds, and then what can we glean from that? What's the gold in there? What's the pearl that started with that little gritty bit of sand that becomes the precious jewel? I believe that's part of our ancestral healing, and I believe that's a good thing to be doing at this time. So let's see if we can look within there and find something that needs to heal. So if you would, take a moment now, close your eyes, go within. Let's take a nice deep breath and find your grounding cord deep in the earth. And if you came into our service after we created sacred space, go ahead and ground yourself now. Feel yourself deeply connected to the earth and held so that in this visualization, you can experience a rootedness and a safety. Good. And then bring your attention to your third eye in the center of your forehead. Imagine it like an actual eye, like your other two. Go ahead and open it up and look out through it into your imagination. And find yourself on a day much like this one in mid-October, when the air has cooled and the leaves are ablaze with color, and signs of Samhain are everywhere to be seen, orange pumpkins and witches and skeletons and bats and cats. And find yourself sitting in front of your ancestor altar, an altar at home that you have already created with photos and remembrances of your beloved dead. And it just feels so nice to give yourself the time to just sit here for a while and look at their photos and allow your memories to come to the fore. So do that for just a moment now. Look at the items on your altar and think about your ancestors on the other side of the thinning veil. And just doing this makes them draw even closer to you, and it feels wonderful, like being wrapped in a warm blanket of unconditional love. And it makes you realize that even if you did not have a completely harmonious relationship with your ancestor when you shared life on this side of the veil, now that they're on the other side, there's no more rancor. There's no more personality conflicts. Nothing but soul-to-soul love. That's what you feel. Now, in a moment, sitting here in the presence of your ancestors, I'm going to ask you to allow yourself to look within your heart and soul and find something that you inherited from one of them, something emotionally, psychologically, or even physically challenging. And I'm going to ask you to do this softly, to seek this gently, because you know these things. The purpose of this ancestral healing that must be done with love, so that as you heal this thing in your life, you are also healing it for them. Because you know that they will augment that healing with their unconditional love through the veil. It will be a relief for them as well. And because you know that this is a joint effort that both of you and your ancestor are making together, because you know that this will heal the lineage so that the one you pass down to those coming after you is one that is already healed. So perhaps you ask yourself this question, find what that challenge is. You know, that question, why am I always, or how come I can never, right? And then fill in the blank to find what that ancestral wound is that you are carrying and playing out in your life. So take a moment now and gently seek that out. Good. Now, as objectively as you can, with no judgment whatsoever, think about what gift that wound might possibly offer you. What gift or skill will you acquire in the process of healing this wound? Take a deep breath. Now, if you feel at all triggered by contemplating this, remember that you are here, this is now, and you are safe within this loving community in our temple, a sanctuary of safe space. Bring yourself present back in this moment. Now, in your whole heart and in your soul, thank your ancestor for this gift. Let them know that you no longer need the challenges because you have found the intended gift within them. Let them know that you will do everything in your power to develop their gift to you so the wounded behavior is no longer necessary. Let them know that now. Now on the altar before you is an unlit candle and some matches or a lighter. So go ahead and light the candle now as an expression of your love and gratitude, a way to let your ancestor know that you are holding the light of their soul on this side of the veil. Go ahead and do that now. Light that candle. And then let all of those images fade and bring yourself gently back here to Gaia's temple. Now, Celia has another song for us.
And the breath falls into the body, and the thoughts fall out of the mind, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time, beyond all space and time, beyond all space and time, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time. And the breath falls into the body, and the thoughts fall out of the mind, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time. And we heal 7 generations back, we heal 7 generations forward, we heal beyond the fear of death, and we heal beyond all wounds. And the breath falls into the body, and the thoughts fall out of the mind, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time, beyond all space and time, beyond all space and time, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time. And we heal 7 generations back, we heal 7 generations forward, we heal beyond the fear of death, and we heal beyond all wounds. And the breath falls into the body, and the thoughts fall out of the mind, and the ancient ones come to heal us beyond all space and time.
Thank you so much for your beautiful music today, Celia. Thank you so much, my friend. You know, I believe that our ancestors want us to live lives of freedom and happiness and health and joy, right? Just as we want our children and those coming after us to have it better than we have it. The ancestral healing that we do now is an act of love for the future. When we find the gift within the wound, when we tend to the wound, when we heal it, when we liberate ourselves from behaving out of ancestral trauma, what goes forth instead is beauty and harmony and healing and music and flowers and chocolate and peace and love and rock and roll and all the good things. It takes effort. It's easy to stay the same. It's not easy to change. But the effort is worth it, because then our lineage will be one of peace. When I get to the other side and I'm an ancestor, I want to know I left this world a better place than I found it. And we can do that by doing this ancestral healing. So, my friends, may your ancestors bless you with strength and fortitude through the thinning veil in season. May they work with you and provide guidance and solace. May you find the gift within the wound and tend to that wound with healing and love. More than anything, may the joyous gifts and talents that come down your bloodline far outweigh any hardships. and may you employ those gifts and talents for the highest good of all. Blessed be. So this is where we open up our floor for our community prayers. If you have a prayer that you would like to offer, then you can use the little reactions feature to raise your hand, and then Mari will call on you and you can offer a prayer. When you're finished, say blessed be, and we know that you are finished and we'll move on to the next person. And also to let you know that some people might want their prayers to be a little more private, because we're also live streaming to YouTube, so you can use the chat room to put your more private prayers, and we will pray for you anyway. We will say blessed be to your prayer, regardless of whether you speak it out loud or not. All right, so take it away, Mari. Got some raised hands here.
Andrea? Thank you. I have a prayer for our friend Stina Brown. Praying for love and light and peace for her. Her father is on his deathbed, and I pray for her during this time to have healing and peace. And I pray for her father, Louis, to pass peacefully in his time. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
And Brianne.
I'm asking for a prayer of physical healing. Somehow I crocheted so much in the month of August that I strained the tendons in my hand, and it has now been 2 months and it is still ongoing pain. It's hard for me to lift too many heavy things, and I like, as a preschool teacher, to be able to lift the children and hold them, and so it would really be nice to have those tendons heal swiftly and in a healthy manner. So asking for a prayer of healing for myself. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Elizabeth.
I would like to first offer a prayer of gratitude for 18 years of marriage to my wife, Jessica, today. It's our anniversary. So very grateful for that love and partnership. And then I have a prayer for an ancestor as of yesterday morning. My cousin, Natalie, my dad's first cousin, passed at home, surrounded by family. And so I pray for her continued peace on her journey and beautiful reunion with her loved ones, and peace for the family as they grieve her loss. And I also send a prayer of healing for my sister's mother-in-law. They don't know exactly what's going on with her, but her weight has dropped very dramatically. And so some prayers for some answers and for ease and peace for her as well. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Karina.
I want to send a prayer out of healing to Steph and his family as they're going through the loss of my brother-in-law, who most likely will succumb to COVID this afternoon. And lots of love and healing to his wife, my stepsister, Ember Rose, as she grapples with this tragic loss. And we're just surrounding her with love, especially at this time where she's not able to be with Scott as he passes, as he's in the hospital really near the end. And so I'm just surrounding all of the Frenzel family with love and light and healing as they come to accept this loss. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Linnea.
I would offer a prayer for my sister's dear, sweet kitty, Tiger, who has been missing for 12 hours. And so he's a wonderful cat. And so please, I hope he returns. And a prayer for my cat, who at 18 passed away on July 1st in my arms. And I know frolicking joyfully through the summerland. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Mansaranib.
I'd like to send prayers to myself for my arm, and I feel like it's an ancestral thing. I'm not quite sure what it is. I have a vague feeling, but I'd send healing to me and my ancestors for the tendonitis or fibromyalgia that I experienced 24 hours. And I'd like to send healing to Linda, a friend of mine whose furry kitty cat passed away just this last week. And for herself and her missing her furry cat. Kitty.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I don't see any more hands, Reverend Judith.
May all our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be. All right, so if we were here in person, we would be passing the love offering baskets now. Of course, we can't do that virtually, but we do ask for you to go to the Gaia's Temple website, gaia.org, and press the donate button and contribute to our ministry so we can keep on going. We're 21 years into this. We certainly don't want to stop now. Every bit counts. Every bit is appreciated. So we thank you in advance for your generous donation. Also, in case you didn't know, Gaia's Temple tithes 10% of the monies we receive today. So if you make your donation today, 10% of that goes to another nonprofit organization that is in alignment with our mission, vision, and values. And today that is the Pcc Farmland Trust, which secures, preserves, and stewards threatened farmland here in the Northwest to ensure that local farmers use sustainable organic methods. And so know that 10% of what you donate today will go to the PCC Farmland Trust. Thank you so much in advance for your contributions. And Mari's going to put up the slide for the song we usually sing, and Elizabeth is going to lead us in singing this song 3 times through. Here we go.
Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Elizabeth, and to all of you. Thank you so. And since I'm saying thank you, I want to thank all the people who contributed to our beautiful service today. I'd like to thank Karina Frenzel for singing in the elements, and she'll be singing them out in just a moment. And for Mari Budlong, our tech goddess, we don't know what we'd do without you, Mari. Thank you so much. Thank you also to Elizabeth Zinda for being my voice and singing all the songs I usually do. Beautiful singing as usual, thank you. And always we thank Celia for her beautiful music as well, and that gorgeous voice of her, and all of her songs are original. She writes them all. She writes and sings all her own music, and we ask you to contribute to her and support her. Also, Maury had put the name of celiaonline.bandcamp.com. That's where you can find all of her CDs and music to purchase, and please do. So, and always, I thank every member on the board of directors for Gaia's Temple. You people are just extraordinary and amazing, and I couldn't do without you, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much. So my final thought about the ancestors today really is very short, and it was written by that prolific author Unknown, and it goes like this. We are who we are because they were who they were. Blessed be. All right, Karina, take it away. Let's sing out those elements.
To the spirits in the north. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits of the west. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits of the south. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits in the east. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. And the spirits in the center. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. Blessed be. Ding.
Blessed be. I do hope that you join us for our Samhain ritual right on October 31st. It's going to be quite magical. So please go to our website and register so we can make sure that you're there. And we're going to hope you stay for fellowship afterwards. And we're going to sing out that last song. And Elizabeth, I'm going to ask you one more time to lead us in singing that final song. The circle is open. Thank you.
Okay. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.